Hi, welcome everyone to the session Ask the Professor. My name is RAIL101x and I'm one of the professors of this MOOC. Thanks to you, we have a number of questions today to discuss. We start with the first one. The first question. The question is about combination of old and new tracks. Is it okay to install new made track with old one? Well, basically, when we do renewal of the track, it is inevitable that we have old and new track next to each other, and they must be connected somewhere. In principle, it is not a big problem. In this case, the situation is a little bit similar to the transition zones. Like as you can see here in the model, and transition zones usually occur in the places when we have something with very stiff support, like bridge, which is simulated here, and the normal track where we have ballast, shown here. And due to this difference in the vertical stiffness, some settlement can occur here, in this area next to the bridge. So in case if we have a new bridge, new track, which has nominal properties, and the old track, which has already somewhat deteriorated properties, we can have situations similar to the transition zones near engineering structure. But in principle, this situation we cannot prevent. Right, the second question is about the railway wheels. The question sounds like, are wheel size standardized? In general, what factors are most important and related to wheel size? Well, in fact, in principle, the wheels are more or less standardized nowadays. The size of wheel on the conventional railways is around 45-50 centimeters, the radius of the wheel. And the most important factor for choosing the size of the wheel is, of course, the axle load. So the bigger the wheel, the bigger the contact area between wheel and rail, right? As you know, the bigger the contact area, the less the stresses. So we need this bigger area to reduce the stresses. Therefore, the wheels of the locomotives are a bit bigger than wheels of the wagons, as you can notice. On the other hand, the wheels of the trams and metros, which are in principle much lighter than conventional trains, are even smaller than conventional wheels for the conventional railways. Another factor, which also related to the contact area, is the traction. Yeah? As long as we need to create higher traction force, we need bigger contact area, and therefore the bigger wheels are, in this case, have advantages, and therefore again, locomotives here have also bigger wheels. The following two questions are related to embedded rail track. As you know, embedded rail track is a novel, or relatively novel type of railway tracks as compared to the ballast track, where the rails are connected to the sleepers and the whole frame is rested on the ballast layer. Embedded rail is a structure when the rail is embedded in rubber-like material, elastomeric material, and then the whole structure is usually typically put in the concrete slab. So the first question is there a benefit of having embedded track for non-road crossings for light rail transit? if I understood correctly, that the question is whether we, if we have embedded rail for normal crossings, where the two tracks are crossed, whether it will have benefits. Well, in my opinion, yes, it would have. For example, as we know that in the crossing area, the dynamic forces are extremely high, so we have impact when the rail is discontinued, and we have impact, and therefore it resulted in a premature degradation of ballast layer and also damage of the rails. In fact, if we have crossing on slab, on the concrete slab, then the forces, it will result in spreading forces. It will be beneficial for ballast. On the other hand, we can question ourselves whether it will be beneficial for the rail itself, because in this case we introduce somewhat harder layer directly underneath the rail. But in this case, we can also compensate for that by using some more elastic rail pads. So, in principle, the answer is yes, it could be beneficial. On the other hand, we also have this problem similar to the similar situation where we have new and old tracks, and also transition zones. So by putting concrete slab, we will create somewhat a transition zone. But transition zone will be anyway also in case of the road crossings. The other question also related to the embedded rail track or in slab track in general. How transferable are German experiences with slab track to Nordic countries for any other countries with a bit more tough climate? Well, in my opinion, any experience with slab track, not only German experience, we have also experience in Japan and now in China. This experience with slab track, fully transferable to Nordic countries or the countries where the different climate. So if we talk about the temperature variation, so it's and buckling of the track, then having slab track, the chance of buckling will be tremendously reduced to almost zero. So from that point of view, this experience is fully transferable. And the last question is about the strange situation that one of the students has observed is the third rail on the track near the train station. As you can see here on this photo, this is the train station, and here is the track, and there is a third rail inside the track. So, I was thinking, where do we usually have such situation? For example, one of these typical situations is bridges, when we have guardrail. A guardrail is necessary in case when we have derailment. So in this case, even if we have derailment, the train will stay on the track, so it doesn't go further from the track. So, the wheel is kind of clamped between two rails. So it might be the similar situation here, but I was not sure. So then I asked my colleague from ProRail, Ivan Shevtsov, and he confirmed that yes, indeed, in the Netherlands we do have such a situation. So they put the third rail on the track, and it's only near the station, so it stops as the train station stops, so it doesn't go anywhere. And usually it's done in the situations, in places where we have curve, for example. So in this case, I presume that there is a curve leading to that train station, so there is a chance of derailment near the train station. So in this case, this rail, the third rail, will prevent the train from moving further, yeah, so that will hit against the train station and go further. As you can see, behind the station we have a building, so this measure is really to protect the train station and the houses behind it in case of derailment. So these are all questions for today. So please keep posting, keep asking questions, and we will gladly answer them. And see you next time. Bye.